Hello, precious one. This is the You Are Too Sensitive podcast with your friend, me. Jade Beale's my name. Thank you for being here. How are you feeling right now? When was the last time you thanked that precious body of yours? Well, let's do it right now, even if you've already done it today. Take a deep breath. Soften your shoulders, exhale. How do your feet feel? Not how you think they should feel. Witnessing how they do feel. Sore, numb, tingly, cold, hot. How do the back of your legs feel? The front of your legs. Your hips. How does your belly feel? Your low back. Your chest. Your upper back. Shoulders. Usually just about everyone, if you're a modern human, and I think even those who have a pretty peaceful life carry a lot on our shoulders. That's just how it is. I love to thank my shoulders. You can put your hands on your shoulders. Thank you, precious shoulders. How's your jaw feel? How does that place right above where your two eyebrows meet? You call that your third eye. How does that spot feel? How does the top of your head feel? I hear so often, we are not our bodies, from people I admire a lot. And I understand what they mean, and I wholeheartedly disagree. What these people are saying, and a lot of them are spiritual people that I look up to, what I think they mean, or at least my interpretation of what they're trying to say is that we are souls that keep on living, even when these bodies eventually die. I think that's what they mean. But my view is, we are souls with a human body, not a human body with a soul. I definitely, fully believe that as true. And in this human experience, in this earth school that you and I are in, we're only going to know this experience through the human body. So when I hear we are not a body, I understand, but my immediate reaction is, it feels so disrespectful to me. It feels very disrespectful to say we are not a body. I feel like my body's listening and she's like, what do you mean? I'm literally your vessel to experience Earth. We are a soul that will, I do believe that life, the human body dies, but our soul continues on. I remember where I came from. I remember the feeling before I was born. I remember that glorious expansion, nothingness, just utter joy place I was before I came into a human body. And I know that that's where I'm going to go. I don't know what happens after that. But I know home. To me, Earth isn't home. And I often feel homesick. It even makes me teary. And I've heard other people say this. Homesick for the life. Not even the life. The soul, the spirit, the freedom that my spirit had before I came into this body, this meat suit, in this earth school. And even, to be honest, saying meat suit sounds a little disrespectful to my body. I say that with humor, meat suit. But what I really mean is this wild, messy, gorgeous, smelly, magnificent pleasure vessel that you and I in the English language call a human body. So I just feel like when we say we are not our bodies, I just feel like we're dismissing a very important part of this here moment. This body, the one who happens to be pumping blood through our veins right now and breathing for us when we don't even think about it, and healing huge wounds In my case, I just had a surgery where I had things inside my belly repairing hernias and these huge scars, and my body just seals those scars up on her own. So, yes, we are souls with, right now, in this moment, you and I happen to be in Earth School together. We are experiencing this moment together in these bodies. We are souls with bodies. And so I feel like every time I hear that, I understand. And it just feels it would feel so much more loving if we could give these bodies a little more credit. I feel like we're so quick to dismiss and want to ascend out of these bodies, which makes sense. The body is where we have pain. The body is where we experience heartbreak and trauma. It makes sense that we just want to I know I'm homesick for the place I was before I came into this body. And I also understand that this body, this one that I don't even really want to look at in the mirror anymore, not because not because I don't love her, but because my filters of about 35 years make it hard for me to objectively look at her. And so I've learned that I don't really need to look at her because I have such incredible reverence for her. And by her, I mean my body. This body is magic. It doesn't matter if I like how she looks. It doesn't matter if she's in a lot of pain. It doesn't matter if she has cancer and is about to die. I will always have reverence for this precious body. It is like watching and experiencing ancient evolution in real time. We are the recipients. Our cute little precious boundless souls are the recipients of these bodies, whether we like it or not, to experience Earth School. My particular journey is I don't need to really look at her in order to deeply have reverence, gratitude. I have such a desire to want to protect her peace, to feed her well, to bring pleasure and joy as much as possible. And so here we are, almost 8 minutes in. This is not where I thought I was going to intro here, but I just heard that in this podcast I was listening, that we are not our bodies, by a spiritual woman that I just love so much. And so I just was like, oh, I just wish we could say it differently. So I'm going to say it differently. I am this body, but more accurately, I am a soul with a human body. Co-collaborating, if you will, in this Earth School. And so today I wanted to share with y'all, at least for me, a pretty huge shift in my life just happened. Actually, shortly after I recorded last week's episode, I've been recording these episodes on Sunday mornings, but right now is Friday afternoon because I'm going to go to the hot springs tomorrow. So I wanted to get this done before I left because I know there's 50 of you who listen to this weekly. Thank you so much. I know quite a few of who you are. I love you, each one of you. Thank you for listening. I also wanted to apologize. I listened to my last week's episode and I wanted to apologize. Oh my gosh, I just am so repetitive. I'm going to be more conscious of that. I don't need to say the same thing over and over. That's how my autistic brain kind of works. I got to say the same thing, but it feels like I'm saying it 5 different ways. When I listen back, I can tell I'm not saying it 5 different ways. I can tell I'm saying it the same way over and over and over again. So my intention is to free myself from needing to repeat the same thing over and over. Let's get on with the show, Jade. Okay. So I want to set the stage. As you all know, I've been, or if you've listened to these podcasts, if you especially listened to the first one, you know I've been self-employed since I graduated from high school. I graduated from Tucson High in 1997, and I had 3 full scholarships to the U of A, that's here in Tucson, ASU in Phoenix, and NAU in Flagstaff. I had full scholarships. I wanted to study pre-med. I thought, I don't want to be a poor person like my parents. I want to have a job that secures my way in life. And that's where I was going. But my person was a little bit split at that time. I really wanted that, but I'd also just fallen in love with photography my senior year at Tucson High. I'd gotten my first camera and I was in love with photography. And so I had these scholarships and I said, I'm going to pause them and I'll go after a year. And my dad was like, okay, because he really wanted me to go to college. He was like, yes, do something that gives you a secure life. So I said, I'm going to pause, I'm going to work, and then I'm going to go I'm going to travel to South America with my camera. That's what it felt pulled to do. And so I worked at Photographic Works at a photo processing lab here in Tucson, saved up money, and then a friend of mine decided he wanted to come with me. And instead of taking the buses like I had originally planned, we were going to take a Toyota truck. So he had the truck and we started the journey. I had a cooler full of film that I'd saved and bought over the year for this particular trip. And it was a lot of color and slide film specifically that needed to be kept cool at a certain temperature. And so I had this cooler that you could plug in to the truck. You know, the lighter thing. What is that called? This was a truck from 1980. So it was already a vintage truck, even though it was like 1998 at this time. It was a vintage truck already. And into the lighter compartment. I don't know what that's called. Anyway, that's where you would plug in my electric cooler that was full of my film. I had my one camera that my mom had gotten me for graduation. It was an old Minolta film camera, used very... Anyway, so I went on this trip to South America, except I didn't make it to South America because I didn't know that there was a Darien Gap in Panama, and we didn't have the money to ship our car from Panama to Colombia. So we went back from Panama up to Costa Rica. This was in 1998, 1999. Ugh, I tell you, being in Costa Rica in 1999 was such a joy because, yeah, that was a different Costa Rica before it became what it is now. Anyway, we lived there for quite a few months and then drove all the way back. And when I came back through Tucson, I decided, I'm going to move to Taos, which is where my friend, who had then become my partner, lived. And I had been to Taos once to visit his family. That's how I met him. I knew his mom from Mexico, and they spent their time mostly in Taos, New Mexico. So I'd already been to Taos and I loved it. And so here it is at this time, I think now we're into 1998. And I moved to Taos and ditched those full scholarships for pre-med. And my dad was just like, I think he saw my whole future just crumble. And I moved to Taos and I ended up not growing. I was a marijuana trimmer to save money to put myself through massage school. So I trimmed marijuana, which was really stressful because it was totally illegal back then. And I was able to save up enough money in about a span of a year to pay full massage school tuition in Santa Fe. And so I went to massage school in Santa Fe, and I would drive back and forth from Santa Fe to Taos. And I became a massage therapist. And that was lovely. I loved it. I loved my schooling at the New Mexico Academy of Healing Arts was probably one of the best years of my life. I'm still friends with the people I went to massage school with. And that was in 2000. We all graduated in 2001. Those folks are some of my closest friends to this day, all these years later. So obviously it was really important, but there's not many super wealthy massage therapists in the world. For me anyway, okay, let me speak like this. It is hard to make like to really, really get ahead for me as a massage therapist, because I can only do so many treatments a day because I literally put my whole body into it, and soul and spirit. So doing massage is always like, whew, it's a lot. It's a lot with little pay. And so that was always a little tricky, but I did it. That's how I sustained myself in Taos. I did not trim marijuana after I became a massage therapist. I only made money doing massage. It was way too stressful to do illegal money making like that. Not good for my very sensitive nervous system. And so that's, and I would house sit in Taos because I couldn't even afford to like pay rent as a massage therapist. And I did rent a room. I rented some rooms, but I house sit a lot. And then at the time, my big community in Taos was the West African drum and dance community. And there came time where all the dance teachers had left Taos, and so I became the dance teacher. And I realized I needed some more training. So my community in Taos raised enough funds, and I put in my own money as well, to send me to Yusuf Kumbasa, who is like the gem of the gem, the most famous of West African dance teachers, specifically the Guinea style of West African dance, to his school in Guinea, West Africa. I was 24 at the time. And so all this money was raised. I go on this extraordinary trip as a very poor, my car at the time, I couldn't even drive to Taos. This is after I had split with that partner whose car I'd been using to go to massage school and back and forth. It was his car I was using, because my car was a complete beater that I couldn't even drive out of Taos. So anyway, here's this girl who barely is making her bills, right? But I'm making it because I'm a freaking badass and I work hard and I loved West African dance. And so I go and study for a whole month, Guinea style West African dance at Yusuf Kumbasa's school in Conakry, Guinea, West Africa. And while I was there, I thought I had understood different cultures because I grew up in Mexico and also grew up in America. Going to West Africa, going to Guinea, just blew me open in a way I had never been open before, especially as a young adult. And there was a student there. There was about 10 of us Americans studying dance. And we stayed with Yusuf and we would dance like 5 hours a day, 6 days a week. We were just working it. We were buff. And there was one woman there that was with her child. And her child got really sick. And so one night we needed to take the child to the hospital. And I was stunned by the hospital. It didn't resemble a hospital. They had nothing. It was completely bare, and I just got very inspired right then. I was like, I want to come back to Guinea, and I want to work in medical. I want to help set up medical facilities for these people that I love, for this culture that I love of West African dance. And so that seed was planted. And so I came back to Taos, and I was trying to figure out, okay, how can I get involved in the medical world? And see, I've drawn to the medical world because I love healing. I'm grateful for Western medicine, but I think healing is way more multidimensional than just Western medicine. And I feel like often, especially as Westerners, we just want someone else to heal us rather than realize we have a lot of agency to heal ourselves. Now, that isn't to say that that's the only way. It's also so incredible what Western medicine does. I like it all, personally. I wish we could all integrate them all. One is not better than the other. They are all sacred, important keepers of wisdom that are important. Anyway, so I'm back in Taos. I'm like, okay, I'm going to become a nurse. I'll become a nurse, and then I can go work with Doctors Without Borders in Guinea or anywhere in West Africa. That's it. That's the plan. Okay, solidified. And I figured out that the best place to go to nursing school, the most affordable for someone like me, would be come back to Tucson and live with my dad and go to our community college here, which is called Pima Community College. My dad worked there. I could get a Pell Grant, and I could basically go for free. So I was like, that's it. I'm going to go for free to Pima and become a nurse. And so I left house, which was really sad. I remember it was such a big deal. I drove a car full of things, and my partner at the time had a van and drove the rest of my things in his van, and we like carpooled all the way back to Tucson with my dog, Guapo. He was this gorgeous golden retriever. And I moved in with my dad into his teeny apartment. I slept in the teeny bedroom. He slept on the floor in the living room. Yeah. Teeny, I don't know. It was probably a 400 square foot apartment with one teeny little bathroom and one teeny little kitchen. And it was just right off of 4th Avenue in downtown Tucson, which was a nice neighborhood. You could walk to coffee shops and stuff. And it was very close to the college too. But I had no money. So that was the option. Live with dad again. And honestly, it was really sweet because we were really good friends by then. And so we got to live together, and I was always busy anyway. I was either at Pima going to school, or I was working. I was doing massage. And I quickly started teaching dance in Tucson because the dance teacher I was hoping to dance with had just moved away. So I do a semester at Pima. I'm also doing massage full time because I gotta pay the bills, and I'm teaching dance. And I decided to go to Africa again. And I saved up money, and I went back to Africa this time with a different teacher, Mustafa Bangora, and saw again, like, oh yeah, I want to come back here and work as a nurse with Doctors Without Borders. And so, I was on the course of my plan. I was like, yes, let's go. And I had completed one semester at Pima with getting my prerequisites because I've never been in college, never, only been in massage school. But after one semester at Pima, I got really disillusioned. It just felt so sad. All my teachers felt sad. I mean, it was nothing like massage school where like I was buddies with my teachers and everyone was so inspired to be there. Like it felt like, it felt very uninspiring. And all of a sudden, I had this life in Tucson. I was teaching dance, and I was like, people wanted me to teach in Bisbee, and people were wanting photo shoots, and my life was kind of busy. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of being pulled to do all these other things. I'm becoming kind of sought after, if you will, in Tucson. And this was the beginning of MySpace and Facebook, and I was instantly on those platforms because I love photography. And I like talking about my work. And so I would share my photos, and I got a lot of traction, and I started a blog. And what I'm trying to say is school at Pima was starting to look really like meh. And my life in Tucson started to blossom. And so after one little semester at Pima, I quit. This was in 2007. 2007, I called it quits on my one semester of trying to become a nurse and fully tended to my life in Tucson, which was very busy. I ended up opening a dance studio. I mean, just my work was taking off as a photographer, as a dancer, and as kind of like a community person. I was very involved with the community. Lots of things were happening. I moved out from my dad's. I got my own place. Like everything was in flow. I was feeling very in a good spot. And what else was true? Well, I never was able to get ahead. I finally figured out a better flow. I wasn't as poor as I was in Taos, but I still was barely making it every month. Let's say it this way. I've never to this day have had a savings account. Let's just say it that way. But I had a very rich life. And, I opened a dance studio, like as all off of my reputation and hard work and so many wonderful things. I got pregnant. My work, my photography just went off the charts. I had so much of my work in early 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. My work was going viral all the time. I was filled with photo shoots, but because I am who I am, I have a really challenging time charging for my photography. So even when my work was going viral and I was getting published in magazines all over the world, I would charge like $100 for photo shoots. $100, y'all. And I did a few projects. All those projects I did for free, all those photo shoots, and it's not like I have a beneficiary. I'm not independently wealthy, but it's hard for me to charge for the photography I want to do. That doesn't work. I can't charge for the photography I want to do. And I don't want to do wedding and all the more traditional styles of photography that make good money. I don't want to do that. I fell in love with photography as an art that speaks from my soul. And so, at this point, I have photographed thousands of people, and a lot of them were awesome shoots, but a lot of them really stressed me out because it's people who have severe body dysmorphia and they expect me to make them look like something else than, especially like with Photoshop and such. And I don't do that. I don't Photoshop. And, I think a lot of folks expect a lot more with a photo shoot than I'm able to give them. I'm not able to fix their body dysmorphia in one photo shoot. I'm able to celebrate them as the precious, beautiful human that they are. But that stuff goes a lot deeper than one photo shoot. And so I've dealt with a lot of disappointment and a lot of, I feel like I'm not able to show people what they want to see. And honestly, that's never why I got into photography anyway. I got into photography because I like photographing people from my perspective. And this is very common, or at least I've talked to a lot of other artists. Having others commission you as an artist can be very tricky for some of us. It's very tricky for me. And even when I'm doing something for someone else as a commission artist, it's still hard for me to charge because it's my love language. So, and same with massage, basically my business side of me has always been really stressful because I don't know how to charge. I don't like asking for money. It is so uncomfortable and so weird. And a lot of people say, oh, you don't know how to value yourself. And it's like, well, I do value what I do. I just don't know how to translate that into dollars and then not to just give everything I do away because I love giving what I do away. I do. But I'm also not independently wealthy. I actually can't do that. So why am I telling you all this? Because in 2020, in March, when everything changed for all of us, my business came to a grinding halt, like so many. I couldn't do photo shoots. I couldn't do massage. I couldn't do anything in person. And I got so scared. I think more scared than I even let myself know until very recently. Luckily, I qualified for gig workers money, stimulus money. And so I was able to support myself that year. But my photography never came back the same. And I feel like every year it got worse and harder. And I think I was in a state of freeze since 2020 until just this last Sunday. As I've already told you all about in previous episodes, I had to sell my house last year and do a lot of changes and trying to figure out how do I make this work? How do I make this work? I'm surfing such a deep burnout and fear that I haven't been able to squash since 2020. I don't want to do wedding photography. I know a lot of people just do wedding or real estate photography. There's so many things with photography I could do that could make me money. I don't want to. My soul does not want to do that. And I have to listen to my soul. But unfortunately, my poor soul has been kind of stuck in a frozen place for 5 years because I've been like, what do I do? I tried to Airbnb my house. I tried so many different things. But it wasn't until this last Sunday, I was kind of just like exhausted. I'd had a bit of a tiff with my husband, and like it was just such a horrible day. And I went over and had breakfast with my husband. We went out to this lovely little Mexican restaurant that I really like. Just this teeny little hole-in-the-wall place, but it's so comforting and I love it. They have the best tacos, and Mexican food always is my food of choice for comfort, especially tacos. We go out, and my husband, who recently got full disability from the military, also, he was telling me, and he's told me this before, but I never really listened. He's like, and I just want to remind you that if you want to go back to school, because his son's just starting college. His son is just starting college, and we're talking about that. And then he was like, and if you want to go back to school, you too have some money every month that the military will give you through me so that you can go back to school. And he has, like I just said, he has told me this before, but a light switched on in me. And I was like, ding, yes, I do want that money. I mean, for me, it's a big chunk of money. It is $1,500, $1,500 a month that they give. I mean, that's basically what I make right now. That covers my basics. So I was like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. This is actually a gift from the universe that I could have this money every month to go learn something that could give me freedom financially and a deeper purpose. I'm going back to nursing school. I'm going to pick up where I left off back in 2007, y'all, almost 20 years ago. We're going to do this again. And I immediately, my husband, because he knows me so well, because I've been, ever since my dad died in 2016, after he died, I was like, oh my God, I need to work with the dying. I want to work with the dying more than anything. But all the positions that I'm qualified for, hospice and such, are all positions of volunteer. And I can't volunteer. I have to use my day hours to make money so I can pay my bills. I do not have time to volunteer. I need to make money to survive, to put food on the table and a roof over the head of my son and my dog and me. So I thought, oh, I really want to be a death doula, but also then that seems exhausting because I already run 2 businesses. It's exhausting. And I don't know how to ask for money. I suck when it comes to being paid time. I'm like, oh, it's okay. Which it is. I mean, if I was independently wealthy, I would do all those things for free. I would do those photo shoots. I would do volunteer in hospice. I would massage people that desire a massage who can't pay. Like, I would want to do all those things if I were independently wealthy. But I'm not. So here I am again. Almost 20 years later. Let's go back. And also in the last, if you've heard the last few episodes, I've been talking about learning the signs from my loved ones that I've crossed, learning the signs from my spirit guides, but mostly from my dad, learning how to hear the signs that he's with me. I've been listening to all the books by Laura Lynn Jackson, who's just so brilliant. And this also was a sign from my dad. I was like, now, finally, he wanted me to go to pre-med back in 1997. Oh my gosh, y'all. Yeah, this all started in 1997. So that's going to be 30 years ago. 30. And finally, I can feel my dad like relaxing, even in spirit world. Like, oh my God, finally. Okay. Because here's the thing. Yeah, it's going to take me probably 5 years, hopefully. because I don't have anything. I mean, I have one semester, and all from that one semester, I only have one class, 4 credits that are going to apply. So I'm starting from ground zero. It's ground zero. That's okay. In 5 years, guess what else is going to happen? If I graduate in 5 years, I'll be graduating alongside my son will be graduating from high school. But this is where I get so emotional. I think of like, oh, I didn't finish telling you. Okay, so I want to do nursing, but with a specific intention. Hospice nursing. So finally, I can do this work with the dying, which I've been wanting to do for almost 10 years. I know, I do everything so slow. It takes me forever to figure things out. I want to work with the dying. And I want to make money so I can finally experience, so I can finally experience life free from how I'm going to pay my bills. I don't know who Jade is as an adult. Free from the worry of how I'm going to make it next month. I've had some years of a little more abundance, but I'm always with one little, are people going to keep booking? Is my photography am I going to still be able to do massage? Like, I'm always a little afraid. I've never known what it's like to fully surrender and know I got a job that is secure. I know I'm going to make this much money. I can relax. I can have a job that fills me with purpose. I can bring photography into it if I want. Like, the sky is the limit. I don't have to ask people to pay me. Someone else can do that for me. I don't have to ask. I can do my job with purpose. All the payment is done by somebody else. And I feel like I am finally able to get paid in a way that gives me such freedom from worry while simultaneously doing meaningful work. And so all of this came to me on Sunday. Just this last Sunday. 5 days ago. The very next day, on Monday, first my husband came over and we signed me up for those benefits with the VA. Because all this stuff takes time, obviously, and I want to start in January. So I did that. I registered for Pima. I got to see my old credits from 2007. Oh my gosh. Oh, here's another thing. When I was at Pima in 2007 for that one semester, I didn't even have a cell phone. There was no classes online. All these prerequisites I'm going to get to do online, so I don't even have to drive all the way over to the campus, because the campus I'm going to be needing to go to eventually is about a 40-minute drive from my house. So cool. I can do all these prerequisites online. I applied for a Pell Grant, which I obviously qualified for. So I got Pell Grant money, free money from my school. I just felt so abundant, and I could just feel my dad. I could just feel him like, yes, yay. You're finally going to be totally okay. You're not going to have to worry anymore. And so after 30 years of kind of like going in and out of wanting to work with Western medicine, I'm finally on my way for real. And, I could have started a long time ago, but I wouldn't be the person I am today. I really wouldn't. And I'm deep, deep, deep into mind-body medicine. I'm deep into many forms of medicine that are not embraced by Western medicine. So I feel like I'm kind of a cool person to also learn Western medicine too. Because I do understand the spiritual realm. I do believe that our loved ones who have crossed over are with us. I do believe that death is not something scary, but something so beautiful. I witnessed it with my own dad. I do believe in these things beyond, but I also recognize the beauty of Western medicine. I recognize the limits as well. But what mostly I love about Western medicine is the credibility it gives me. People will believe me if I have those credentials. And to me, that's priceless. If I'm versed in the language of Western medicine, people will believe me more to deliver the message I love, which is about we actually have a lot of power in our healing. Western medicine's amazing, but we also have a lot of power in our healing. Death is not scary, and the spirit world is magnificent. Of course, I'm not going to push those beliefs on anybody, but I'm going to bring that energy into it. I don't need to even talk about those things in order to bring the energy of that to that. Just about a month ago, or maybe it was almost 2 months ago, I got to photograph my dear friend from high school's partner's daughter. My dear friend from high school's partner's child, who was only 18, I think, in hospice. And I got to photograph them. I think it was like a week before they died. And I loved it. As soon as I walked in, it's so sad. They're so like, this is a child actively dying. And they allowed me to take photos, and the child had already given consent when they were a little more alert. And while I was there, they did open their eyes, which was amazing. And again, it was just confirmed when I was there. And this was 3 months ago or something. I didn't even think about how that, I'd kind of given up on my desire to do hospice work because it's all volunteer work at that point. But I love taking those photos. And of course, I gifted those photos to my friend and the family. And yeah, that's easy for me. But that's just, when I think about that, I'm like, oh, I thrive in that space. I witness the sacred energy, and I'm not afraid of the grief. Grief is something I can hold easily. I'm not afraid of grief. I'm not afraid of crying with other people. And of course, I got to keep it professional. But for me, grief is not scary. For me, death is not scary. And for me, dying is a sacred, 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 sacred moment. That, if people are lucky, and the only 2 deaths I've witnessed, I've only witnessed 2 deaths. I've been with 3 of loved ones that have been dead. One of my dear friends, I wasn't with her when she died, but I got to go spend time with her body after she had died, and just me and her, and I got to really just witness the sacredness of that, of us being able to go be with her one by one before they took her body away. So that's what's gonna happen, y'all. I discovered that on Sunday. I applied for everything, the financial aid from the government, financial aid from military, applied. On Tuesday, I was talking to advisors. On Wednesday, I was already registered for all my classes. Next week, I'm going to go meet with the veterans officer over at the Pima, at the campus, to make sure everything's in order there. I still will have to work, obviously, but I'm going to work less. And I'm going to put everything into this, even though the first classes I have to take are like writing 101 and pre-calculus. And oh my goodness, I did calculus in high school. I did calculus. Oh, no. I'm doing pre-algebra. That's right. I'm not even in calculus. In high school, I did calculus because I was a little smarty pants. I have to take, because I've forgotten everything, I have to take pre-algebra. How sad is that? But that's all right. That's what we're going to do. It's actually not sad. It is what it is. And slowly but surely, I'm going to make my way there. As a 46-year-old woman, if I'm lucky, I'll graduate when I'm 50 or 51. My first degree ever. My first time fully going to college for real. If I'm so lucky and if I make it, I'll be 51 with my first degree. And I can't tell you, like, after that happened on Sunday, something shifted in me. I feel like that frozen part of me that really just completely froze up back in March of 2020 in panic, but also that I'd been slowly accumulating of being a self-employed person barely making it for her whole life, her whole adult life. Finally, it's like, okay, we have a plan. I have a 5-year plan. And I start just imagining, who is Jade free from worry about bills? Who is Jade with a savings account? I think, I told my mom, I was like, I'll be able to come visit you more, hopefully. She'll still be alive. But if I can make more money, I can go see my mom more often. Who is Jade without financial disarray and fear? Now, I want to be really clear because yes, I've had a lot of fear, but I've also had a lot of perseverance. I've afraid and I still do it. I was so wanting to be an artist and, opening my dance studio was a complete dream come true. I've done so many dreamy things, so many beautiful things with my art. And now I'm at a different point. I'm someone who wants stability. I want to make my bills. And more than anything, I want to make money while having a true sense of purpose. And incredibly, these two things line up. And honestly, back when I was wanting to go to nursing school, I would have never chosen to do hospice work. Are you kidding? I had no spiritual awareness around the beauty of death back then. None whatsoever. I wanted to do that so I could go be in Africa, which is amazing. And who knows where that would have led me. And who knows, maybe I'll still go work in Africa one day with Doctors Without Borders. That would be amazing. But being who I am after all this life journey has taken me on, after losing my precious daddy. And truly, I feel like I've said this since he died. I was like, the last gift, and it's actually not the last gift because my dad keeps giving me gifts from spirit world. I'm just getting to learn how to recognize them better now. I rejected it for a long time because I really just thought the physical was all there was. Now I know that's not true. He's with me right in this very moment. He's so proud. I wouldn't have known what I know now about my love for that sacred space when people are dying and how to care for them. And how beautiful, actually, Western medicine helps with that process. I can't wait to learn more about it. But, morphine and these things and assisted I think it's a growing movement. I don't know if we have it here in Arizona, but I know it's in New Mexico and California when someone is terminally ill, and if they want to call it, that's their right. And, to help, Western medicine can help with that, empower people to be like, okay, I actually don't want to I want, I have this terminal illness. I want to choose the day that I'm going to depart. I think that's really powerful, and Western medicine helps with that. I think morphine is a miracle drug for the dying. I think Western medicine is absolutely fabulous in conjunction with all of the rest. And I feel like I have all the rest, or at least, of course I don't have all the rest, but I feel very versed in all of the rest. I feel very versed in holistic health, and I feel very versed in mind-body medicine and chronic pain and dysregulated nervous system and how that affects us, and how so much of what pains us as humans is within our ability to move through in a way that Western medicine simply does not know how to guide people. I feel like I'm pretty well versed in that. And so, here I am repeating myself. I think you understand what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Thank you for loving me, even though I repeat myself over and over again. So I'm gonna still do a few photo shoots. I'm still gonna do a handful of massages once I begin this journey, a month. And I need to figure all that out once I figure out the last details of my financial aid. But in 5 or so years, you can call your girl to help you to help you and your loved ones if you ever have a loved one who needs hospice care. I also want to become a death doula. I want to add that to all of this. I want it all. But the nursing degree gets us paid. Becoming a death doula and having all this gorgeous other work and art that I feel like I can bring with, that I get to do. But the nursing gets us paid to have the life of purpose. And I feel so grateful. I felt my dad with me after I discovered this on Sunday. I felt my dad with me the next day buzzing. Like I could tell he just was so happy. He struggled financially his whole life, and I knew he wanted me to get a degree that could solidify that I'd be okay, that I wouldn't struggle like he did. And I really resisted. I resisted college. I was like, I do. Like I have resistance around all of that. Having to have a degree in order to make money. Whatever, it is what it is. I had my resistance for it, but now I'm in a new season and actually I'm going to use this to my advantage. If I can get paid well to have this thing called a degree, let's do it. Let's do it. And not only that, I have financial support from the military and the government to do so because I am so poor. Let's do it. Instead of just like, I don't really believe in degrees. It's true. I don't. And I also do. Life is nuanced. Life is nuanced. And I close my eyes and I see myself tending to beautiful strangers, families, during some of the most intense times of families' lives when a loved one is dying, and my whole body fills up with joy. Yes. I want to be there for those people. I want to help them. I want to make sure their loved one is safe and comfortable. I want to answer the questions. I want to be professional, but I also want to just be the beacon of empathy and hold sacred space with that degree. So that's my big news. That's my big news. I'm so happy. In 5 years, your girl is going to start having a savings account. And my work will probably turn more and more towards the beautiful process of dying. This podcast might become a death podcast. Who knows? I don't know. But I love the sacredness of death. I'm not afraid of my death. I know that we're just going to go home eventually. And that place is so beautiful. I remember it vividly. This Earth School is so intense. Being in frozen mode for the last 5 years. Oh my gosh, y'all, it's been so intense. I've developed coping mechanisms through that. I think the biggest coping mechanism that I've talked about, but that I have a lot of shame around for sure, is binging reality TV shows. I never used to watch reality TV before COVID. I thought it was so dumb. And the thing is, like any addiction, we need it until we don't. And I'm not shaming myself for it. I just feel shame admitting to it. Is that the same thing? I don't know. I'm grateful, just like I am with my addiction towards food. But to be honest, I feel like I'm even more grateful to my addiction towards food because we need food to survive. But I'm grateful for these addictions, for these ways to get us through. And I feel it's so important that I don't, or at least if I do feel shame, to honor it and then release it. I just have shame admitting out loud because 4 or 5 years ago, I never was a person who even liked these kinds of shows. So being honest about that, being grateful, thank you for the crutch, because obviously it got me here, got me to this point. And since Sunday, I feel like my soul is dying. My soul is dying, and I can feel her coming alive again. Okay. I have a vision that's going to get us out of survival mode. And it's so exciting. And I have a sense of purpose. Even though I know it's going to suck. But I do not like having to do things like pre-algebra. I do not like having to sit with teachers who I feel are uninspired. But you know what? Suck it up, girl. Suck it up, girl. Send those poor teachers that seem like they're uninspired all the love I possibly can. Love and gratitude to those precious teachers. I am a different person than when I was 27 years old at Pima. I am now 46 years old, and I have so much gratitude and reverence. So, your girl takes a long time to figure things out, but she eventually does figure them out. That is for sure. So if you're slow like me in figuring things out, it's okay, precious one. It's okay. I know it seems so cliche to just remember and place our hands to our heart. It was hard for me so much of the time. I'm going to figure this out. I did not know the answer until just this Sunday. I did not. I've been doing a lot of massage and more photo shoots, and I have plenty of work right now. But it takes a toll on my body, and it barely covers my bills. It's not the way forward. And so I've been like, okay, what is the way forward? What is the way forward? We have a way forward now, folks. And if you're like me, like I just said, and you're kind of slow, I know for certain you will find a way. Being frozen for 5 years was part of this earth journey for me. It has given me a lot of insight, a lot of empathy. And as I get every day that I get older, I just have more empathy. All the hard times in my life, I know have been pivotal moments for this earth school. Even the ones that feel the most shameful. They're not shameful. It's totally okay. So I just have one last question for you. And that is, are you giving yourself the kind of grace that you would give to somebody that you love? Or could you turn up the volume a little bit on the amount of grace that you could give yourself today and tomorrow and maybe for 5 years? I think a lot of the time the answer is we could turn up the volume on the amount of grace that we are giving ourselves. Not because we're trying to get our way out of it or wiggle out or not take responsibility. No. Because we give ourselves grace just like we would give to others that we love grace as well. So, I'm going to leave that with you today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to be a soul in that body. Thank you for staying with that body. Thank you for being a practitioner of loving that body no matter how that body might feel. I'm so grateful to be in Earth School with you. I'm off to the hot springs and be naked in the sun. Love being naked in the sun. Can't wait. And I'll be back here with you next week. Bye, my love.
I fell in too deep. And as far as at least how I remember, we were leaving in September. red and gold paint the sky. And as far as though maybe I pretended, oh, I wish it never ended. I held on with all my might, still waiting on that last goodbye. See you standing by the door, watching the leaves as they fall once more. In the silence we made, I couldn't find the words to say. They linger in my mind. Oh, I wished you'd stay. Oh, I wished you'd stay. And as far as at least how I remember, we were leaving in September, when red and gold paint the sky. And as far as though maybe I pretended, oh, I wish it never ended. I held on with all my might, still waiting on the last goodbye. Last goodbye. Last goodbye. Last goodbye. And as far as at least how I remember, we were leaving in September, when red and gold paint the sky. And as far as though maybe I pretended, oh, I wish it never ended. I held on with all my might,